I started this channel based on making interesting and silly food combinations, stuff that I would never make otherwise, and this Crunchwrap Supreme filled with Nashville hot chicken is definitely on that list. I know it definitely exists in some restaurants, but this is my take on it. To make Nashville hot chicken, I'm starting with 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds of chicken thighs. I cut off any excess fat and then I cut them into smallish nugget shapes. I want them to be pretty bite-sized so they fit well in the Crunchwrap. And these are of course going to get the buttermilk marinade treatment, or in my case the buttermilk powder treatment. This stuff keeps forever in your fridge and I always use it instead of buying a whole case of buttermilk and wasting most of it. I sift a couple of tablespoons of that into a cup of water and mix that together. And to supplement some of the fat that doesn't exist in the powder, I'm just adding a little bit of heavy cream. To me, this gives the same results as soaking something in actual buttermilk. And pickle juice is always a good option for a buttermilk marinade. I'm also giving this a good bit of hot sauce of my choice because this is Nashville hot chicken after all. Season with lots of salt, pepper, and MSG, and then add in the chicken and mix that together. You could definitely marinate this overnight. I just did it from morning to evening, so about 6 hours. We can make our flour dredge in the meantime, and I'm finally going to use this breading station that I got as a gift a while back. We're going to find out if this makes breading stuff like chicken any easier. It's going to be about equal parts of all-purpose flour and a type of starch. Cornstarch is fine, I'm just using potato starch here. Of course, lots of salt, pepper, and MSG, and whatever other seasonings you want. I'm going with some Cajun seasoning, some garlic and onion powder, smoked paprika, and dry mustard powder. Mix that together and that'll turn into the flavor coating of your dreams. We also might as well make the best ranch sauce in the game while we're waiting. I've done this in other videos, but it hits every single time and it's always worth the time and effort you put into it. It's going to be equal parts of mayo and sour cream and a little bit more of that buttermilk powder. Sift that in, by the way, because it really clumps up if you don't. Squeeze in a little lemon juice and grate in 1 clove of garlic. Then this is best done with fresh herbs, but you could sub in dried, it's just not going to be as good. I chop up chives, dill, and parsley and add that in. Again, add salt, pepper, and MSG to taste and mix that up. I forgot to add in a dash of onion and garlic powder, but I did that later. You can thin this out with heavy cream or water to get the consistency you desire. I like mine a little bit drippy, so I add a good bit in. But seriously, this beats any store-bought ranch or any restaurant ranch for that matter. You got to do it at least once. But when that chicken is marinated, I'm going to pull that out and squeeze off any extra moisture before adding it into the flour. This mediating tray goes on top and then the other bin goes on the other side. Then you just go to town and shake this around until everything is coated. When you feel like this is ready, you can turn it over and let all the excess flour drip underneath. And honestly, I think this did a really good job, a lot better than I could have done by hand and a lot faster. I'll link something like this below if you want to buy one, it's approved. But I've been struggling with keeping a flour coating on chicken, so I've been trying different things. This time what I'm going to do is let the flour coating sit on this chicken undisturbed for about 15 to 30 minutes. It's going to hydrate a bit and supposedly adhere better to the chicken. And on top of that, I am going to reintroduce this to the buttermilk and then again into the flour dredge. I think having that first coat really adhered and then a second coat like normal before frying is going to really make a difference. At least that's what I've seen the Golden Balance do, and his chicken tenders go off on TikTok. So just repeat that whole process again and get these ready to fry. And before frying these, I'm going to get a little bit of oil into a small pan and fry my tostadas. Remember, this is the Crunch in the Crunchwrap Supreme, so you can't skip it. Once that oil is hot enough, I'm just going to add a store-bought corn tortilla to it to get it crispy. Flip it every 30 seconds or so, and when you get good browning, then you can take it out and salt it. You could also buy store-bought tostadas, and it wouldn't make much of a difference. But now I'm going to get a good bit of oil heating in my wok to about 380 Fahrenheit. And actually, before frying my chicken, I'm going to fry a few pickles while the oil is clean. Again, I just have some store-bought pickle chips that I'm going to add first to that buttermilk marinade. It's okay that these are going to get chicken juices on them because they're going to cook and that's going to fry off. I'm giving these the same treatment in my breading station. I'm just not going to double coat these. I don't think that's necessary. But those are going to sit in the hot oil for just a couple of minutes until they're browned and cooked. And now I can go in with my chicken nuggets in small batches to cook them through. Agitate those. They should only take about 5 to 7 minutes. When they get this brown coating on the outside, you can pull them out and rest them on a wire rack. Pretty soon after frying though, you need to coat these in the Nashville Hot Sauce. I got this together before frying and it's mostly some cayenne pepper, supplemented with brown sugar, smoked paprika, and garlic powder and chili powder. Whisk that together, and then when you have some hot oil from the frying, you can add a ladleful of that. Mix that into a sauce and you can coat your chicken with it just like you would with any other wing sauce. I add my chicken to a bowl and spoon over a bit of the sauce at a time and toss that. And already, I'm pleasantly surprised with how this breading is holding up. Oftentimes at this point, a lot of it would break off because of the rigorous tossing. So this is the method I'm definitely going to be using going forward. Alright, once the chicken's done, it's almost time to assemble our Crunchwrap. I whipped up some Velveeta mac and cheese because it's goated, but you can definitely home make some. I'm going to link my recipe where I made these deep fried mac and cheese balls. I think that recipe would go really well in something like this. With all the other stuff going on though, Velveeta is going to do just fine. And lastly, I have a burrito-sized tortilla that I'm going to heat up in a pan. You definitely want it to be pliable so it doesn't rip as you're trying to fold this together. Give that about a minute per side and then you can start to build. First, going with a handful of the Nashville hot chicken. Try to roughly shape that to the size of the tostada because it's going to be underneath that. Then just add your tostada and then some Shredduce. I'm just using iceberg lettuce. Some healthy scoops of your mac and cheese and then the fried pickles. This is definitely too tall to fold on its own, so I'm going to rip a piece of another burrito tortilla and add that on top. That's going to give us a seal to where the rest of the tortilla can stick to so this doesn't open up, in theory at least. So I still have my non-stick pan over medium heat and I'm going to carefully add this on top. It's really hard to keep it folded as you turn this over, so take your time. You should add a grill press or heavy pan on top to make sure it's really smushed together. And after a couple minutes, you'll see that the bottom's browned and you should be able to flip this. I didn't rip a big enough piece of my tortilla, so the sides aren't sealed here. That's not ideal. The final product is still going to be the same, it's just not going to be as aesthetically pleasing. You've seen other clips in this video of me making the second round of this and I did much better. But either way, when you've got browning on both sides, you're done. You can get this onto a cutting board and then slice in half. Carefully reveal the beautiful cross section, which would be more beautiful if you sealed this properly, but oh well. Still looks amazing and it's absolutely going to taste amazing, there's no question about it. Serve with a side of your ranch and you're ready to tear into this thing. Let's get to the taste test. So admittedly, not my best work, at least looks-wise, though I'd beg to differ on the flavor of this because I just know it's going to knock it out of the park. I really do miss doing videos like this, where I do something that's kind of time-consuming and just fun to make. It's really how I explore my creative side. Don't get me wrong, I love making just generic, regular recipes and the shorts that I do, but this is the kind of stuff that made me start my YouTube channel. So this is already dipped, so let's dig right in. Cheers. Yeah, that hits the spot. That's exactly what someone would be craving if they wanted something like this. And I really do think I've got my chicken breading down, finally. That double dip in the wet and dry is what really makes that batter adhere. And it still stays crispy even inside of a Crunchwrap like this. Thanks, Golden Balance. I mean, the ranch is incredible. I've made it in other videos and it's the same result every time. And making your own mac and cheese would probably make this just a little bit better, but with so many flavors going on, I don't think you'd notice much of a difference. Those fried pickles hit too. There's just so much going on in this and I love it. But this vessel is a good way to explore some different flavor fusions or creations that you want to make. When I was dieting more and losing weight, I did a lower calorie version of one and it's really good. But if you sat with me through this, I really appreciate you letting me get my creative juices flowing once again. Thank you all for watching, be blessed, and I'll see you next time. Only do the Shredduce if you need a thumbnail, it's useless.